Thank you, Dylan. I'm delighted to be here with so many old friends and so many new people. This community has grown enormously over the last few years. Like you, I care deeply about sustainability. Like you, I'm laser focused on addressing climate change. For years, I've used my voice from inside and outside to push companies to do more. But recently, I discovered something. You never really understand the full power of your voice until you lose it. One day about 2 years ago, I went to the doctor with a raspy throat. A year later, I couldn't talk. Soon, I couldn't walk without help. Last spring, I was officially diagnosed with ALS, a disease which is progressive, brutal, and terminal. ALS sucks, full stop. But family and friends help enormously, and technology allows me to engage in the world. I use an app called Whisper, built by a dear friend, to hold meetings now. I am talking to you today with the help of AI technology from the company 11 Labs and the help of another dear friend to generate and fine-tune the audio. And none of this would be happening without the support of the Climate Voice team. Two other quick comments related to my ALS. First, my colleague Jennifer Allen is on stage with me. She will be controlling the slides while I run the audio. She's also prepared to step in if the technology breaks down, or if I do. Second, you may be tempted to focus on the marvels of AI technology that can clone my voice, or on my drooling or coughing and choking, which might happen. Please do your best to focus on the content in spite of these potential distractions. Despite all the challenges and frustrations I live with, I still have a voice, and I'm still just as determined as ever to use it to speak out for climate. I want to tell some truths today we all know in this line of work, but rarely say out loud. And spoiler alert, I'm here to ask you to raise your own voices together as a community of experts. We all know that our companies have voices, powerful ones. They use them to influence public opinion and public policy and to burnish their reputations. But if we are to make that transition from fossil fuels the world endorsed at COP28, companies need to do more than pipe up about their latest innovative work, as vital as that is. They need to speak up for policy progress, loudly, again and again, in public, in marketing campaigns, at conferences like this, with the media, and in city halls, state houses, Washington, D.C., Brussels, Seoul, wherever they operate, binding policy, laws, and regulations, not just voluntary agreements. Some of you may think we're done with policy. We passed the bipartisan infrastructure bill and the IRA. What else do we need? And the odds of Congress doing anything this year are small. But even focusing on this year, we need to protect the IRA, support regulatory work at the EPA, the SEC, and other agencies, avoid catastrophic rulings in court cases, and enact new state and local policies to accelerate progress on the grid, on transportation, and on buildings. And then we need to continue to drive progress next year and beyond. I've been in your shoes, working my heart out to lower emissions in operations, supply chains, and products. You should all be proud of the progress you're making, but we also have to be honest about something else. Companies won't make net zero goals without public policy to speed the way and spread the progress. That's just plain math. In the end, it's all about speed and scale, moving faster and at far greater scale, not just to decarbonize company by company, but to do it across the entire economy. Speaking of speed and scale, check out this number. This historic number is the federal investment enacted in 2022 that is accelerating the clean energy transition in the US. This is not just a huge investment of public money. It is transformative because it unlocks much greater amounts of private capital. And that 2022 law is a start, not the end point. We all know lawmakers should be doing even more. But right now, fossil fuel interests are lobbying like crazy to pump the brakes. We have made amazing progress in the last 2 decades on wind, solar, EVs, and other technologies, on corporate action on climate, and even on policy. We spend a lot of time celebrating that progress, and it is worth celebrating and gives us hope we can address the climate crisis at the speed and scale required. At the same time, we know we are not on track, No country, no company. We need to move faster to avoid some of the worst consequences of climate change. Global emissions are still rising, maybe not as fast as they were, but they need to start falling, and soon. And we keep hitting new records for global temperatures. Our carbon budget is literally going up in smoke. And we are still not talking anywhere near enough about what matters most. You won't hit your own net zero goals without public policy. Society won't achieve a just and equitable transition from fossil fuels to a zero carbon economy without binding policy. So that brings me to a few crucial questions for you. Let's do a quick temperature check of the room. Luckily, my hearing is just fine, or at least age appropriate, as my kids put it. So let me hear you now. Clap once if you think the climate crisis is now extremely urgent. Clap twice if you think that we won't address it in time without bold public policy. Clap 3 times if you think companies should do more. Clap 4 times if you're willing to join your peers and say so. Even my age-appropriate ears could hear that response. I'm glad to hear and not surprised that a lot of us agree. So I have a special invitation for you today. I've joined with other former and current sustainability pros to develop a simple, strong statement. It calls on all companies to raise their voices on climate policy. We call it the lead statement. We were inspired to write this and publish it because of private conversations we've had with many of you over the last few years, which indicate, much like your applause, that most of you agree with the statement. After finalizing the statement, we decided to pressure test it, so we reached out to a few dozen people to get their reaction. Almost all said, hell yes. Those people have already signed the statement. I invite those here today to join me on the stage. I'll show you the names of those who have already signed, as some of them join me up here. And then I'm going to read the text of the statement and then invite you to join all of us in signing. To be clear, signers are making a personal statement, not a corporate commitment. The statement itself is short. I'm going to read it now. It says, and I quote, "As sustainability professionals dedicating our careers to combating climate change, we believe that all companies must leverage their power and influence to accelerate climate policy progress. We believe that it is time for companies to back policy action at the speed and scale required to meet our global goals and avert the worst outcomes. We are united in our concern, our commitment, and our confidence in the power of corporate leadership. Specifically, it's time for all companies to leave obstructing trade associations, elevate climate policy as a company priority, advocate publicly for effective binding climate policies, and demonstrate real commitment to the collective action needed to achieve the just and equitable transition from fossil fuels agreed on at COP28. Together, we and our companies can meet this moment." That's the statement. Dozens of sustainability professionals have already signed. All of you with us today are the world's leading experts on corporate sustainability. Together, our collective voice carries real weight. Our collective voice can make it easier for companies to do what we need them to do. I'm inviting you to join all of us. Join your peers and speak up. We will share this letter and the signatories widely with companies, colleagues, and the media, and ask that you share the link yourself and encourage your peers to sign to keep building our course. It's time to say publicly, as a community of expert practitioners, what so many of us have been saying privately. To sign the statement, simply scan the QR code and fill out the form. The URL is also on the screen and should now be available in the conference app under our session description and on the conference website. We also invite every sustainability professional viewing this via live stream or later via the recording to sign as well. One key point: many of you will feel comfortable putting your name on this publicly, but we recognize that some will not. So you can sign publicly or confidentially where we won't reveal your name or affiliation. Your choice. Just click the appropriate box on the form to sign the statement. Friends and colleagues, this is an absolutely critical moment for climate. We all know it. We all feel the heat and we all feel the urgency. I invite you to speak up, to join with others and use your voices as a community of sustainability professionals. What happens now is up to all of us. We can help accelerate the systemic change needed to achieve a just transition. Let's tell the world what's needed and then go make it happen. So I invite you to join with all of us and sign the statement. If you know me and care about me, do it for me. But more important, do it to ensure that the work we're all doing matters and really moves the needle. Even when my voice is silenced, this community will speak up and will be heard. Thank you, Dylan and GreenBiz, for the opportunity to speak here today, and to everyone here. Thank you for your time, for your attention, and for speaking out.
Thank you, everyone, and we just want to let you know that you can sign the statement today throughout the conference and well beyond. Please share it with your sustainability colleagues. We need to make a big difference, so the more signatures, the better. Thank you all.